Welcome to my video. This is Eckogen. I'll be going over the mechanics of Mazuko, the final boss in Dreamsong Theater. We'll go over his attack and mechanics at the same time. So he does frontal swipes, they're blockable. Next is his front to back linear unblockable attack. Causes knockback if you're hit by it. This is his phase trigger animation. So phase happens at 90% and then it goes through each phase. There are a total of 3 phases. There's conduction, red mass, and then white mass. His third attack is going to be frontal swipes. Fourth attack is AoE spin. It's blockable, knocks you back. The fifth attack is a phantom grip on the furthest person. When he does this, usually you want to do KDs to stop him from completing the attack. And I'll explain what's going on here. So the message, Mazuko creates a soulbound orb will appear. That's the start of the phase. You'll see purple and red orbs around the room. 4 rolls are needed. Gate 1 and gate 2. Then top and bottom conductors. You assign purple orbs to each roll. Typically gate 1 and 2 will use purple orbs on the left and right side of the room. The purple orbs at the top and bottom half of the room are for the conductors. So gate 1, the gunner, they're standing furthest by their purple orb to get phantom gripped, and to ensure that the next attack, which is him throwing 2 dark blue orbs at the furthest player, will be him. So we do knockdown, that stops the phantom grip. The boss now throws 2 dark blue orbs at the furthest person. You want that to be gate 1. So as this is going on, gate 1 is touching the purple orb. Touching the purple orb will provide a 3-second buff, where upon expiry it drops 1 dark blue orb on your location and it will CC you for a short moment. Gate 1 repeats this process 3 times, dropping 3 dark blue orbs, and since 2 were thrown at them, they'll have a total of 5 dark blue orbs stacked neatly in a line by their purple gate. Once the last furthest dark blue orb is thrown at gate 1, then gate 2 and bottom and top conductor can then move to do their jobs. So the warden on the right there, so the top and bottom conductors touch their purple orb and then quickly move back to their line to drop a dark blue orb. The attack you see here for the boss is the room-wide AoE. It's unblockable. You can ignore it or iframe it. That's his final attack in his attack pattern. So it'll just repeat for the entire phase. Well, until he's dead, basically. Now, there will always be 4 red orbs that form a line with the boss. The formation will be RNG from 2 to 8 o'clock or 4 to 10 o'clock. In the video, the line is 4 to 10 o'clock. Also notice the pattern in the conduction line. The red orb is predetermined, followed by a dark blue orb, which the conductor dropped. Next will be the conductor, and then the other red predetermined orb. So after that room-wide AoE, you're going to want to stun the boss. Anytime you stun the boss, it forces him to activate the dark blue orbs into light blue orbs, and vice versa. So that only happens when you stun the boss. So there you go, take a good look at the conduction line. You got the red orb, dark blue orb, followed by the conductor, another red orb, and then the boss. So that is the complete conduction line you have to create. So essentially, players, red orbs, and light blue orbs serve as conduction. Now, while this is all going on, gate 2, the BD in the back there, they're touching the purple orb and dropping dark blue orbs. They're doing this a total of 3 times to create 3 dark blue orbs. After using the purple orb 3 times, it transforms into a gate. So this is why the gate rolls do not use the purple orbs that are designated for the conductors. So here's the boss animation after the stun. So this activates the dark blue orbs into light blue orbs because we stunned them. The boss will then do conduct. Now if conduct fails, it will be a wipe. And conduction will consume any light blue orbs in the line. The message, the Mass of Rage, has appeared, so that's indicating the trigger of the red mass phase. So the red mass spawns at the edge of the room in a random location. Gate 1 and Gate 2 will now go to their respective gates. So by going into their gates, they're going to create a link between themselves. And it removes the gate in the process. So gate 1 is going to stand where the old gate was, which was by those 5 dark blue orbs. And then gate 2 is going to step into a red AoE. So because gate 2 stepped into the red AoE, that spawns a gate right under where gate 1 is standing. So you want a gate to form by those 5 blue orbs. Gate 2 then goes to the boss and lines up with the incoming direction of the red mass. The red mass is trying to get to the boss, and it's going to move towards it in a straight line. So once gate 2 is in position, gate 1 steps on the red AoE, and that's going to cause a gate to spawn under gate 2. Now gate 1 and 2 will get close to destroy the link. And then what happens here is that the red mass will touch the gate that's by the boss and then teleport to the other gate with the 5 dark blue orbs. And then to set up for the next phase, remember those 3 dark blue orbs that gate 2 dropped by their purple gate that are now light blue orbs because they're activated by the stun. You need one person to basically step into those and drop dark blue orbs near the boss. Kind of like where you see there's a dark blue orb to my left and then a dark blue orb to my right, because you're going to need that for the white mass phase. So if you do the red mass phase correctly, you'll see the red mass will then be teleported to the last gate, which is by the 5 blue orbs there. They'll consume that, and that will cause the red mass to die. Remember that the boss is still doing its regular attack rotation, so he's going to throw 2 dark blue orbs at the furthest person. So you want to kind of position these within melee range for the white mass phase. So everyone else should get close. The red mass eats up those 5 orbs. They'll then die, so that completes the red mass phase. The message Mazuko absorbs the soulbound orb that has been activated. So meaning that he's going to absorb any light blue orb that's in the room, and that will heal him. So this is why during the red mass phase, you want to convert the light blue orbs into dark blue by basically stepping into them and then dropping them near the boss. And then the boss is going to end the phase by doing a room-wide 5-hit unblockable AoE. So this is where you want to use a destroyer or an FM sheath. So before the white mass phase happens, you want 2 people to go far, and they're going to wait. So the message, the Mass of Ruin, has appeared, and 2 white mass will spawn. They'll either be at 12 and 6 o'clock or 3 and 9 o'clock. The 2 furthest must go to their designated white mass. So this will cause the white mass to follow them instead of going to the boss. And then the mass will create a link between itself and the 2 closest people to the boss. Now, if the white mass touch anyone, it's a wipe. If the links are too close to each other or they touch, it'll also wipe as well. Now, the dark blue orbs, since they also count as conduction, the black orbs, or the dark blue orbs, if they're close to the boss, the white mass might sometimes tether themselves to that. So the 2 people need to be aware and either be under the boss to avoid that, or just make sure that you don't drop any dark blue orbs too close to the boss. So the 2 furthest will kite the mass in a clockwise position, and they must never stop because the mass will speed up. So it's recommended to use classes with high mobility to kite the mass. So while the mass are being baited around the room, everyone else is going to receive a death timer debuff. And that lasts for 7 seconds. When it expires, it's instantly going to kill you. So to refresh the buff, you simply touch the dark blue orbs or these purple AoEs that you see here. And you can refresh it as many times as you want. So usually the melees will use the dark blue orbs to refresh, and the range will use the purple AoEs. But it really doesn't matter. As long as you refresh it, keep the timer from expiring. So you can see the 2 people who are furthest, they're baiting their white mass, constantly moving in a clockwise position, never stopping. And the 2 closest who have the tethered link are making sure that the links are never too close to each other or touching each other. So when he does the Phantom Grip, this is where you want to do knockdown. You do knockdown because this will stun the mass and it resets their speed. So remember that throughout all the phases, the boss is doing its regular attack pattern. So when a Phantom Grips the furthest person, ideally it should be someone else and not one of the people kiting the mass, as that can cause the mass to catch up with them. And then the death timer, if you're wondering what that looks like, if you look just to the top left of my buff bar there, you can see there's a red icon with a skull. So that's a death timer. 7 seconds. You need to step into the dark blue orbs or the purple AoEs to refresh it. Otherwise, if you don't, you'll die, just like what happened to me there because I did not see that I had the debuff. So soon after, the white mass will disappear, and then that ends the phase. It's best to DPS the boss down and ignore the mechanics if the health is about 30% or less. From here, the mechanics will repeat. The phase rotation is conduction, red mass, white mass. Now, the reason why it's recommended to DPS and ignore mechanics is because for the next conduction phase, there's going to be a lot of dark blue orbs all over the room, which will mess up conduction. So you would have to clean them up by stunning the boss to turn the dark blue orbs into light blue orbs, and then step on them to move them away from the conduction line. So that's the mechanics of Mazuko, the final boss in Dreamsong Theater. I will include the summary of the mechanics in the video description. That's also where you'll find my social links. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you have any questions about this boss, please refer to the explanation of the summary of the mechanics, or you can always ask me and I'll try to help you if there's anything that needs to be further, explained, or, something that's not clear. But yeah, that's the final boss in Dreamsong Theater. Thanks for watching. Hope that helped.